Now the awkward time of recognizing myself. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy. Yeah.
That on? That's on. Okay. Yeah. So thanks everybody. Thank you, Justin. So as most of you know, this is Justin's last Sunday. He is heading out on sabbatical after this, and so the church has put together a little gift for you. And as you like to say, we are a sending church, and so we want to take a moment to pray for you and your family and our church before you leave.
So sabbatical is typically it's a period of rest. Kind of the big idea behind sabbatical, like Sabbath, is you're going to rest, and it's an extended time of rest. But also, like the second piece of that is renewal. So you want to rest from your labor, you want to take Sabbath, but you also want to experience renewal. And a big piece of sabbatical is the hope that you'll be renewed for further ministry. I've worked at my church, City Presbyterian Church, for 10 years. And at 7, I was eligible for a sabbatical of at least 3 months. And because I didn't take it at 7, I'm taking it at 10. I was given 6 months. And so during that 6-month period, I don't work at the church. I don't even, in this case, attend the church. I pretty much have cut off all communication with the church in an effort to step back and experience rest. But my experience in that is like at 6 months, it took me about 8 weeks before I felt pulled back from my calling and my job, where I was able to kind of separate myself from it and to really kind of enter into rest. Being a pastor, one of the difficult parts of this calling is it can be hard to separate myself from the role of pastor. And so it kind of leaks into all parts of my life. Every week, without end, there's a sermon awaiting me on a Sunday. And so, to not preach for 6 months has been interesting and has allowed me to be able to focus on things that I probably wouldn't have been able to focus on. The theme of my sabbatical was called the road trip sabbatical, and the idea was that I was going to basically take several different road trips over the course of my sabbatical. Those road trips would have me and my family, me and my children and my wife, me and my wife alone, me by myself, me with friends, me with my dad. And so basically layered during this 6-month experience was supposed to be, 7 to 8 different road trips in which I would go places, travel, see things, take the back roads, take less populated roads. And so that was kind of the theme of my sabbatical. And it comes from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where Ferris says,
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Sometimes you have to slow down and not let life pass you by. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be more present to myself, to my emotional life, be more present to my family, my wife, be more present to people when I was with them. And so part of this journey of my sabbatical was to, peel back some of my social media activity, peel back, obviously communication with different folks in my church, so I could be more present in some other areas of my life. With the COVID part of this, I was supposed to start in April of 2020. And of course, COVID kind of hit in the beginning of March. And as we got into it quickly, I knew I was going to have to put a pause. And I actually thought my original thought was I wasn't going to take it at all this year, because obviously if I'm doing a road trip sabbatical, And especially those first 3 or 4 weeks when everything got shut down, like the thought of travel just didn't seem realistic. But as time kind of clicked on, it became more evident that maybe I would be able to accomplish a lot of what I wanted to in my original sabbatical plan, that I might still be able to take it this year. So I just decided to go ahead and do it. And all that meant really for me was changing all my plans. Like I still got to do road trips, and I still got to see amazing things, and still got to be present with my family doing some really fun and cool things. It just had to look different than what it was originally planned. I couldn't do the same kind of things. All the road trip plans that I made had to be redone. We had a lot of different things planned, from renting an RV, and suddenly RVs were astronomically priced and all taken, so we couldn't do an RV kind of trip, and we had to do some kind of other different kind of family trips. So had to be flexible. It started a little bit later than was originally planned, and so that meant sabbatical would go into the winter instead of just in the summer and the fall, and that's okay. And I think one of the things that the Lord taught me in that was just to be, flexible and to be grateful. A big theme of my sabbatical is, besides presence, is being grateful, having gratitude, recognizing beauty, and being grateful for the experiences, whatever those experiences might be, however they might fail or not fail, however they might look or not look, like just trying to be really grateful and present to the Lord and what He was trying to do in me. And I think the other thing, just to kind of like the blessing that I wasn't necessarily anticipating, was my wife and I have a really great marriage, and I never really would have thought like that there was anything that was lacking. But this season of being home with her and being more present to her and experience different things with her has really made, like, we also celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary during this time, and I did some things for her and for myself, to be honest, just to remind me of our story and our life together. And just through all of that, like the kindness of God was to grant me a closeness with my wife that I didn't know was not there, and how much I'm thankful that to have just rediscovered it, I guess. And it's been sweet. I saw the beautiful things I've gotten to see, the places I've been. I did a road trip with my dad, and we went into Moab and mountains and did these mountain passes in a side-by-side four-wheel drive vehicle, and was blown away by the beauty. We stayed in a beach house as a family, and I would walk the beach. We stayed at a place in the Low Country in South Carolina, right on the water, on the backwater of the Low Country, where the tides come in and come out, and we rented boats and salt dolphins, and they swam right up against our boat.
We don't have any fish.
Oh my gosh.
We don't have any fish.
I saw sunrise at Horseshoe Bend, and drove through Zion and Bryce Canyon, and went to Crater Lake and saw the sun rise at Crater Lake, and played golf at Bandon Dunes on the coast of Oregon, and
Nice, dude.
rode the 101 and the one in a Jeep Wrangler with the top down. And what I learned in that was that I'm small and God is big, and the world is big, and that God, COVID has made us myopic on so many things, on so many levels, to only be able to see certain things. And what I've been reminded is that this is not a surprise to God. This season's not a surprise. This disease is not a surprise. God certainly grieves over the sickness and death that's brought in the world by sin, but he's not surprised by it. And many greater people than myself have lived through much worse pandemics. And so as I would stand on the expanse of these beautiful and breathtaking places and the largesse of these places, I was reminded how God is in the heavens and he does what he pleases, and how that's a good thing for me, but also how God is so like concerned about me, even in the expanse of history, that he cares deeply for little old me.